Hello, welcome to the Villages, Florida. My name is David. I'm a realtor with Florida Realty Investments, and every week we take an in-depth look at what's happening here in the Villages real estate market. You'll get a pretty good idea as to what long-term trends are, and you'll get a good perspective on what the differences are between the different regions of the villages, both in terms of availability, sizes of the homes, prices, etc. We do this every Monday. Please check the date on the show to make sure that you're getting the most recent information. A couple of things to note. First, all of this information is drawn from the multiple listing service. It does not include any listings from the VLS, the village's own internal listing service. For that reason, if you are a buyer, you really need to have somebody able to show you VLS properties and someone able to show you MLS properties. Without both agents, you won't be able to see everything available for sale here. And while it is true that in the South, the VLS seems to have significantly more listings currently than the MLS, no matter how many listings each of these services have, without access to both, you will not be able to see everything for sale. Similarly, if you are selling, you need to decide whether you're going to be listing on VLS or MLS. Please feel free to contact me if you want to discuss advantages and disadvantages to both. If you're a buyer who's looking at the villages and you're trying to find a good deal, you have a focus on an area, a size, or a price, I'll show you how we can narrow down your search to the most attractive properties. Also, if you're a seller and you're trying to maximize your return in a reasonable period of time, I'll show you research that we can use to justify the highest possible reasonable asking price. Before we get started, I also would ask you to please either like or subscribe if you find this information valuable. It really helps the YouTube algorithm. If you want to reach me, please reach out either to DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com or through our website, DavidisinFlorida.com. Be happy to advise you, research for you, or answer any questions about life in the villages itself. So with that out of the way, let's take a look now at what's happening this week. We start every week by taking a look at the yield on the U.S. Treasury 10-year note. The mortgage rate most closely tracks this yield. It's about usually 3 percentage points higher or so. What you see in this chart seems to be a slow and inexorable rise in interest rates over the last 4 years or so. And with the recent move that we've seen over the last couple of days, it certainly appears, to me at least, that new highs in interest rates are directly ahead of us. I'm going to just take a brief interlude to show you this chart, which gives a longer term perspective of the price on the 10-year bond. Keep in mind, as the price goes down, the yield goes up. The decline that you see towards the right side of that chart is the decrease in yields from 0.5% to 5%. The low that you see in the 1980s represents a yield of 15.82%. And with the amount of money that the US has to raise over the next couple of months, it's hard to believe that we're not going to be seeing higher rates. That is just my personal opinion, and it is worth as much as you've paid for it. So that's enough doom and gloom. Let's take a look now at the villages, where we start by taking a look at total listings, which this week reach a new high of 401 listings, up from 392 listings last week. And this is substantially more than the 348 active listings that we had the same time last year. Currently, homes in the villages range from just under $160,000 to $1,365,000. This graph is showing us the median list price per foot for all active listings on the MLS. As of this week, it's $259.91 a foot, down from the $262.62 that was in effect last week, and we are now lower again than the $262.86 that was the median listing price for homes on the market the same week a year ago. So now I'm going to switch things up a little bit. We're looking at a map that is showing us all of the active listings on the MLS currently. On this map, the size of the circle denotes the size of the property, and the color of the circle denotes its price per square foot, not the price of the home. So a dark circle will be a lower price per square foot than a lighter circle, and a larger circle will be a larger home than a smaller circle. And we can divide the villages into different regions, and we can take a look at different attributes and pick out houses that meet our specific needs. For example, this map is showing us the identical information, but in this case, the size of the circle denotes the size of the home, and the color of the circle denotes the age of the home. So older homes are darker circles, and newer homes are lighter circles. But you can see that even in areas that were fully developed decades ago, there is still new construction taking place. We could also analyze the different regions of the villages, and I've broken the villages down into 4 regions. The first of which I'm calling the North. This is the area south of Highway 42, but north of Highway 466, and it includes Spanish Springs. Please note that on these maps, even the smallest dots represent a home. The scale is exaggerated for effect. Once again, these are all active listings in what I'm calling the northern area. This is the area that I'm calling the Mid-North. This is the area that has a northern boundary of Highway 466 and a southern boundary of 466A. The Mid-North area, I would say, is one of the premier locations here in the villages. This is the area that I'm calling the Mid-South. This is everything south of Highway 466A, but north of Highway 44. Once again, these are only active listings. And this is the area that I'm calling the South, which is everything south of Highway 44. Once again, if you are a buyer and you're looking in the southern area of the villages, you really should consider VLS and MLS. Even though VLS currently has more active listings in this area than MLS, the fact remains that without access to VLS and MLS, you won't be seeing everything available for sale. This is the last of these maps. I just wanted to give you some idea as to what we could do with this data. What we're looking at here on this map are all homes that went pending within the villages over the last 60 days. Obviously, if there's an area that interests you, being able to zoom in and focus on exactly what's been happening there recently will be invaluable, whether you're buying or selling. Here we start taking a look at the differences between the regions of the villages. As you might recall from those maps earlier, I've broken the villages down into 4 regions: the north, the middle south, and the south. And what you're looking at here is a representation as to how many homes are available in each price point in each of the regions of the villages. So, for example, on the right, when you see all regions, you can see that there are 399 listings in total, and the most expensive home is $1,365,000. In the north, there are 190 homes for sale, and you can see the price distribution for those homes. Similarly, in the south, where there are only 45 homes for sale, you can see what prices those homes are available in. We're still looking at listings, just another way of looking at them. Here we're looking at how many homes are available by size in each of the regions of the villages. So you can see that in the north, properties somewhat less than 1,500 square feet are the norm, whereas in the middle south, properties around 2,000 square feet are more common. This is our last look for a while at all listings, and here we've broken it down by region and by price to give you an idea as to what price segments are active in each of the regions of the villages. So, for example, the longest bar at the top, which represents the $300,000 to $400,000 price range, there are currently 43 homes in the mid-north available, 9 in the mid-south, 97 in the north, and only 17 in the south. So now we come to new listings and homes going pending. Every week I take a look at how many new listings there were over the prior 7 days and how many homes went pending over the prior 7 days. I think this is our best look at short-term trends in the market. Obviously, if there's a flood of new listings and homes aren't going pending, that will weaken the market. And similarly, if a lot of homes go pending without new listings, that will strengthen the market. But as we see here, last week, 48 new listings, slightly down from the 51 of the previous week and identical to the 48 new listings of the same week last year. Homes going pending numbered 47, slightly improved from the 43 of the previous week and about the same as the 46 of the previous year. As you look at this graph, keep in mind the red line is new listings and the black line is homes going pending. If the number of new listings increases at a faster rate than homes can go pending, then this market will be under pressure. This graph is just a summary of the previous graph. We're trying to keep track, as I said, of the difference between new listings and homes going pending every week. This week it was negative again, i.e. more new listings than homes going pending. It was very slightly negative though, and certainly an improvement from last week. So let's take a look at the homes that went pending last week. They went pending at a median price of $243.60 a foot, down almost $10 a foot from the $252.10 at which homes went pending the previous week. And this is well below the $266.59 per foot that homes were going pending the same week a year ago. Another sign that the peak of buying season might be behind us. This is the median time on the market for the homes that went pending last week, up to 45 days from 31 days the previous week, and it was only 31 days for the same week a year ago. And this is a concerning graph. We're looking at what the percent change was from the original list price for the homes that went pending last week. Keep in mind that the prior week, pending home sales had only seen a 3.85% reduction, but last week they saw a 6.45% median reduction, which is even worse than the 6.12% reduction that was in effect for the same week a year ago. We now turn our attention to sales. Last week saw 30 homes close, down from the 41 homes that closed the previous week, and virtually unchanged from the 31 homes that sold the same week a year ago. Prices for the homes that sold last week ranged from $230,000 to $665,000. Good news on the price realized for homes that closed last week. Median price realized was $254 a foot, improved from the 253 of the previous week, and improved from the 251 a foot that was the median price for homes closing the same week a year ago. Here's a chart we'll have to watch to see if it's alerting us to any changes. This is the median time on the market for the homes that closed last week. It increased from 16 to 26 days, which is not that substantial compared to the 28 days of the same week a year ago, but seeing a dramatic rise like that is worth noting. And we finished by taking a look at all listings once again, and we're looking at the state of the market basically. What percentage of listings have had to reduce their asking price from the original listing price? This week, 53.87% of listings have reduced their asking price, which is worse than the 53.32% that had reduced their asking price the previous week, and worse than the 52.87% that reduced their asking price a year ago. And this was the big story last week, which is the percentage of decrease for the homeowners that reduced their asking price. We are seeing improvement this week. The median decrease for all listings is currently a 4.79% decrease, which is an improvement from the 5.37% decrease that was in effect last week. But this is still worse than the 4.22% median decrease that was in effect the same week a year ago. That is this week's look at the Villages real estate market. Please consider me if you're a buyer looking to buy here in the Villages. I can assure you that our data-driven approach will give you confidence that the price you're willing to offer will be a good one for you. Similarly, if you're a seller, we can show you research that can justify a reasonable asking price to help you release your equity in a reasonable period of time. But either way, if you have questions about life in the Villages, or you'd like me to do some research on the Villages or Central Florida real estate markets for you, please reach out to me either at DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com or through our website at DavidisinFlorida.com. We welcome any engagement, and we hope to hear from you. Take care.